start speaking to Katie Wood, the HR business partner for Redcentric. Good morning, Katie.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Yeah, really good, thank you. How are you?
Good stuff. Yeah, hot. We've chosen a very hot day of the year to do this, but
Yeah.
we'll crack on regardless. So, Katie, I think first things first, we'd obviously like to find out a little bit more about you. And the first thing I notice, and I'm always intrigued by people who are in recruitment, what they obviously set out in life to do apart from recruitment. And yours was drama in Exeter, at the University of Exeter. What was the situation there, and what made you move away from drama ultimately?
Yeah, so it might seem a bit of a strange one to go from studying drama into a HR career, but actually it turned out to be really useful. So the skills I learned on the course, which I did because it was my favorite subject at school, pretty much. So I went into that straight from school, studied 3 years of drama, and a lot of the skills on the course were things like facilitating workshops, learning how to read body language and that kind of thing. So yeah, a lot of the skills were really relevant to my career now, which is great. And HR naturally can be very dramatic at times, so I feel quite prepared for whatever situation I find myself in. So yeah, actually it's been a really good foundation to build on.
Okay, drama every day in HR and recruitment.
Yeah.
And recruitment.
And recruitment, yes, yeah. You never know what's going to come next, I guess, in recruitment. And I think that my favourite thing about working with people all the time is that it's so unpredictable. You never know kind of what the next thing is, and that's what makes it really exciting and great to work with, I think.
Definitely. And would you recommend Exeter?
Yeah, it is a long way away from Leeds. It's a good 6-hour drive, and at the time I was a student, so I was getting the megabus down.
Right, okay.
Which was a long way. But yeah, really beautiful, really close to the coast, and yeah, a really nice 3 years I spent down there.
I've been for a lads' weekend in Exeter. It's not for this podcast.
Okay.
Duke of York pub. I don't know if you ever went in there, but wow. Anyway, so obviously you came back to Leeds. Everyone always does, I'm told, I believe. And then started you had an office administrator role, I believe, for the first 12 to 18 months, and then Morrison's, which is the bulk of your career so far. Talk about if you can, your career path through Morrison's and how it's got to where you are now.
Sure, yeah. So I started off on a grad scheme at Morrison's. It was called the group-wide grad scheme, and that involved moving around different parts of the business, trying out different functions. I knew pretty much from my first placement there that I wanted to go into HR. I was working on a colleague engagement project, and I just knew that was the path I wanted to take. So ended up kind of forming my next rotations around the HR department. So I spent about 6 months doing colleague engagement. I then spent some time in the employee relations team. I also did some work in the communications team, and then finally ended up in the recruitment team, which is where I spent 2 years doing a mixture of areas from finance. I did some work in manufacturing and engineering as well. So yeah, quite a variety of different roles to recruit for.
Yeah, this is what I was going to say. We obviously speak to quite a lot of people in HR/recruitment. Some go through the channels of working with slightly smaller businesses where they get to see the ins and outs of the business. Whereas obviously you've come through a much larger organisation in Morrison's. Was it a very structured career progression through Morrison's that led you to recruitment? E.g., you got to see all areas of the business, and it was a very structured way of doing it in a large business. Do you think that's kind of built, if you like, your fundamental career and your experience was broad because of working at a company that size?
Yeah, I think the great thing about starting off your career in a big company is that you can try different areas of the business to see kind of where you fit best and what you enjoy doing. So that's kind of how it went for me. And Morrison's were great in terms of letting you try those opportunities. They're really keen on internal development that way. So I guess ending up in recruitment, that was where I wanted my career to go at the time, and they let me do that. So hence then spending 2 years in that team. So that was really good.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because, again, we speak obviously to a lot of HR professionals, and recruitment is almost thrust upon them. It almost becomes more of a recruitment role than a pure HR role, and obviously role. Sorry, and some people like that, or don't like that. You seem to have embraced that. Recruitment was always an area of HR and human resources that you enjoyed and wanted to sort of focus on more and more.
Yeah, I think when I first went into the role, I'd never done recruitment before, but soon really enjoyed that candidate interaction. Really enjoyed speaking to different people on a daily basis. So the more I kind of got into the role, I really enjoyed building up those networks and those relationships. I also really like the side of recruitment, which I guess is similar to HR, in that you're really supporting the rest of the business, the entirety of the rest of the business. So you get to see a large portion of the business, and although you're partnering with certain specific teams, you can really build up those relationships really, really quickly. So that's probably the side to recruitment and or HR that I enjoy the most, is that relationship building.
Definitely. So how did you come about your present role at Redcentric? How did that come about? What was it about the role, the company, and the opportunity that was too good to sort of turn down?
Yep. So I've been at Morrison's for about 5 years. Decided that it was time for something new challenge. And I'd worked around different specialisms within HR. I decided I wanted to tie all of that together and go into a more HR generalist role, which was still, I guess, a focus on recruitment, but also including other areas of HR that I'd previously looked at as well. So that's kind of how the move came about. Obviously, Redcentric is technology; it's a completely different sector, and that's something I was looking for as well. Being in retail for 5 years, I wanted to try something new and something something kind of up and coming. So yeah, I think it's been a great move. It's obviously a really much smaller company, but I think that's a good thing for me at this moment. I wanted to try something that was a completely different type of role. So that's definitely what I've got with Redcentric.
Definitely. Now, you joined in March 2020, which, good timing. The world kind of changed a bit in March 2020.
Yeah.
So how did that work? I'm guessing, obviously, you accepted the role earlier in maybe January, February time. Have you actually been in the offices? Have you worked at the offices yet? Or have you literally been onboarded remotely?
Yeah, so it's been an interesting 5 months, but I accepted the role prior to lockdown. My start date was actually the week after lockdown, and so my first day was at home. So I got my laptop couriered over to me, which was great, and kind of went from there. So I have been into the office once so far, just to have a look around for a quick tour, and just to see where I will be working. But no, I think the whole remote onboarding experience has been great. Everyone's been so welcoming, so friendly, really willing to help. Because obviously I've not had the chance to meet people face to face as yet. So I think it's been a great experience for me as a new starter, and I've now got the job of onboarding new starters, and how we go about that remotely. So yeah, it's been a great first start for me.
Definitely. And what is in effect your role there at Redcentric? Obviously, we've spoken a little bit about what you're looking to try and achieve there and what you're looking to do. But just in a nutshell, what do you see your role there at Redcentric is? Because I mean, it's a sign of Redcentric's strength, if you like, that they still brought you on. I mean, with all that uncertainty, to bring someone on like yourself specifically for recruitment purposes is a great sign of their strength as a business. But what is your role, or what has been your role in your first sort of 4 or 5 months there?
Yep. So as recruitment has been quiet given the situation, I've come in and it's been really good because it's given me the chance to really focus on the strategy, the recruitment strategy in the first few months. I think it's not often that you get the time to kind of step away from the day to day and actually look at the plan and the strategy in real detail. So that's been great. So recruitment strategy is big on my list. Other than that, I've been focusing on things like our CSR strategy, how we can focus on more of our community and charity work. So that's been really interesting at the moment, given that we are remote, how to come up with a virtual way of fundraising and that type of thing. And other things like engaging our colleagues throughout the lockdown period, which again has been something new to everybody, how to keep the workforce engaged and motivated through different ways and means. So they've kind of been my key things to focus on throughout the first few months here.
Definitely. And it must be a challenge because you're trying to get buy-in from people, I'm guessing, you've not met, the senior management, all the divisions, who's Katie, kind of thing, but not literally. Yeah. But I guess that's been a challenge, maybe too strong a word, but something a little bit different than what you're used to when you're sort of looking across a desk at someone.
Yeah, it has been a challenge, just kind of trying to just get my name out there and introduce myself virtually to people. But things like Zoom and Teams, well, we use Teams, that's been the main tool that we've been using. So it's been great to have video calls, which are now kind of the norm, I guess, which provides a bit more it makes it a bit more human, doesn't it, to have a video call as a regular meeting format than just over the phone. So yeah, I think I am really looking forward to meeting people in person. I think that'll be really nice. I did meet my close team for a socially distanced meet a few weeks ago, which was really nice because I'd obviously not met them in person yet. So yeah, really looking forward to actually kind of working back in the office and meeting people.
Well, I can obviously vouch for the fact you've been busy, because for anyone watching this is about the 4th time I've attempted to speak to Katie. She's cancelled on me with a whole myriad of different excuses to get out of doing this. So, that's a testament to how busy you are. Now, I know one of the big conversations we've had sort of over the few months that we've been chatting away, and I know you're looking to bring in things there at Redcentric, but is about recruitment and the experience of recruitment and how important it is that companies like Redcentric, or anyone really, give a good impression of their business by way of candidate experience, which I know is the kind of the buzzwords for it now. How great an emphasis do you and by extension Redcentric place on this and making sure that candidates who apply for roles at Redcentric get a good impression of the business?
I think it is really, really important, the candidate journey in any recruitment process, and that's something that I really want to focus on at Redcentric. I think anybody that's applying for a role with us, they've made the effort to apply and to submit an application, prep potentially for an interview, and therefore they absolutely deserve the time given to them, whether it's giving them constructive feedback, letting them know in detail how the interview went and how they could potentially improve next time. So I think having a really great candidate experience is so important. Even if the candidate doesn't get the role in the end, that doesn't mean that there's never going to be a role for them with us. So we want to maintain that that relationship with them, given that they might be applying for a role again in the future. So really, really important. It's something I definitely want to focus on with Redcentric, just making sure that every candidate we engage with or speak to goes away and feels like they've had a really good experience with us.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the reasons we do these calls with people like yourself who've got the wealth of recruitment experience you have is to try and pass on a little bit of advice, whether it be to candidates, to recruiters, whoever. So starting with the candidates, what advice would you give? Because obviously a lot of people out there who very unfortunately have found themselves in a situation where they're looking for work. Now, whether it's with Redcentric or anyone else, do you have any specific advice to people as to how to get noticed, how to go about sort of pushing their applications across and basically putting them at the forefront of hiring managers' minds?
Yeah, I think my advice to candidates is not to give up. I think as somebody that's, in the past, you can apply for lots of different roles and potentially get knocked back either at application stage or interview. But that doesn't mean that you're not going to find a role anywhere. I think the right role will come to you almost. And I think you've got to try and really show off your skills, but make sure that you're applying to the right company for you as well. So yeah, not to give up with applying, although it might seem like the application process is never ending. There will be the right job at the end for you somewhere.
Yeah, and definitely put yourself. I speak for what we try and tell people as well is put yourself across. Follow up your CV with a phone call. Did you get my CV? Can we chat about it? And just differentiate yourself, I think, is key. Now, you're on that side of the recruitment fence. I'm on this side, the dark side. What advice, or how can I put this? What would you say to recruiters in this market? I'm sure you get a lot of people mailing you, calling you, mailing you, LinkedIn messaging you about recruitment. What annoys you about recruiters? Let's get that out of the way. Here's a great chance. I'll take notes at this bit, but what frustrations do you have with the recruitment industry? External.
I think my frustrations, I think the heart of it is kind of not respecting the client's diary is a big one. I think it's quite often assumed that when we post a vacancy, that's the only vacancy that we're working on, and the only thing that my attention is based around is that vacancy. And I wish it was, because it would make my life a lot easier to fill the roles, but unfortunately we've got 10,000 other things on our list to be focusing on and working on. So I think it's just that awareness of we are really, really busy, and although we'd love to get back to everybody and explain that unfortunately we can't brief every agency that contacts us, we might just unfortunately miss an email or not have the time to go back to everybody. So just having that awareness and that respect, I think really, really gets you far. So yeah, that would be my my tip to any agencies I'm working with.
Definitely, you've hit the nail on the head. One of the things I say to my guys is recruiters often take rejection quite badly, and I try and explain to them, it's not that you're not necessarily interested or you don't like the email. It's you simply don't have time to respond to every single agency saying thanks but no thanks or whatever it may be. And I think recruiters can take it quite personally that, oh, why hasn't such and such got back to me? So I get that completely. I get that 100%. So when you work with recruiters, because again, a part of this podcast is to sort of get across to recruiters how they work well with end clients. And I'm not advocating anyone mail Katie now and try and work with her because we want to. But what do you look for in a recruiter that you work with? What do you look for them to bring for? Because they're an extension of your business, I suppose. So there's a certain responsibility when you send a vacancy to a recruiter that they're going to work for it in a way that you and Redcentric would want them to. So what is it you look for when you work with recruiters across the various areas you recruit for?
For me, I think it's knowing that when we need your support, we will absolutely come to you. and it's perhaps that patience I think I look for. We do get so many requests for you know, to support us with roles, and it's, at the moment, for example, it is very quiet in terms of recruitment. So it's having that patience that there isn't a role right now, but there might be, you know, in 2 months, 3 months, you know, whenever that may be. And I would tend to go, if we do require agency support, I would tend to go to the agencies that have been patient and haven't sort of pestered me for roles, or you know, sent me emails daily or called me daily or that kind of thing. Not saying that people do, but
I only call you daily because you're cancelling my podcast. That's the only reason I call you every day.
Yeah, so in Redcentric so far, I've had nobody do that every day, but I have heard stories of it, shall we say. So yeah, I think, yeah, just having that patience, being kind of the fact that we know you're there if we need that support, but not needing to be kind of you know, constantly in contact with us, or that kind of thing. I think that's probably my main thing.
Good stuff. And how have Redcentric gone during these 5 months? I'm guessing a lot of companies I speak to, they're talking about how they never realized they could almost operate this way. You know, it's been a thing for years, hasn't it? People talking about home working and flexible working, and so many companies were probably afraid to do it, but have almost had their hand forced in the last 4 or 5 months. Do you think that what's happened in the last few months has shown companies, maybe including Redcentric, that flexible working or different methods and ways of working as a business can actually carry on past, hopefully, if this pandemic ends, and you'll change the way you work moving forward?
Yep. So I think it's been a real eye opener to see how people are, you know, working and coping with that working from home environment. We do have some home workers, sort of permanent home workers already, but the majority of our workforce are office based. So it has been an interesting challenge to see that shift in working environments. But the situation has definitely prompted us to look at other working, you know, ways of working going forward. And say moving back to the offices, next week, we're all gradually starting to move back into the office, albeit on a very phased approach. Yeah. I think to assess people's preferences, we thought that we should actually ask the question to people, and therefore we sent out a working arrangement survey which gathered people's thoughts about working from home, whether they wanted to return to the office, what were their preferences longer term, you know, do they want to do 2 days in and 3 days out, or vice versa. And that's given us a really good indication of people's preferences moving forward. So we feel like we've you know, by trialing this approach from next week, we can hopefully start to see how that moves going forward. So yeah, hopefully a positive thing.
Yeah, great stuff. Yeah. So with regards to Redcentric, I always give people the floor. What, from your experience now, admittedly your experience is from, you know, however far away at the moment, but why did you join Redcentric, and why would others, you know, moving forward, when they see this video and they start following you guys on LinkedIn for opportunities potentially, hopefully in the future, why would you advocate people look at Redcentric and think about joining them as a business?
Yeah, I think the main thing is, well, I'm biased, but I would say the people. It's not just kind of, you know, myself with that opinion, but I think if you asked, you know, the majority of the people in the organisation, they would say that the set of people you work with here are amazing, and people are actually inspired to work with, you know, colleagues who are really expert in their field, so that then helps with their own development. So the people is definitely one of them. I think as well, just the, you know, the amount of new innovative things that are going on, the the change that's going on, kind of new customers, new products all the time. Things are having to adapt to our new ways of working, which makes things really exciting for people working in that technology field. So yeah, it for me over the last 5 months, I've really noticed that it's kind of a really exciting place to work. Lots of new things around the corner, and the other thing is, the thing I really like is that if you have an idea, if you have a great idea and you want to make that happen, then all you need to do is tell someone about your idea and make it happen, basically. You have to kind of,
Kate, while you've been there yourself.
yeah, so say a lot of the approval processes for making things happen, with new initiatives, new ideas, it's seen as a really positive thing for people to come up with ideas and make changes and process improvement. So in various parts of the business, we've seen problems solved, new ideas come up, new things happening, all from the ideas of colleagues. So it's a really great place to be if you're someone that likes to see ideas in motion and things happening.
Great. And talking of ideas, I've seen obviously over the last few months that you are the flag bearer for charitable initiatives at Redcentric, and there's one coming up. So it'd be great if you could just give us a quick overview of, I don't know when this video is going to go out, but I don't know the exact date. It's a week Friday. I don't know what that date is off the top of my head, but what's happening then?
Yep. So it's 21st of August, Friday. We're taking part, along with one of our customers, VP. We're taking part in a charity challenge called Boycott Your Bed. And what that involves is giving up your bed and a good night's sleep for one night in aid of Action for Children. So you could be camping out in the living room, you could be camping out in the garden, you could be sleeping under your desk, whatever that means for you. We're looking to get people involved. So yeah, we've got a few colleagues taking part with their families and that kind of thing, building forts and dens, I'm sure. So yeah, it's going to be a good event. And throughout the night, the charity are providing a live stream event online for people to dial in and get involved with things like quizzes and celebrities and that kind of thing. So it should be a really good event.
Okay, and that's for Action for Children. Just very briefly for anyone who doesn't know, what's the charity all about?
They provide, it's basically making sure that children have really happy and really safe childhoods. So it's providing the support that perhaps children from disadvantaged backgrounds need. So yeah, it's making sure that that children across the UK have the support they need during their childhood.
And how can people support you? How can people find out more about what it is you're doing and get the information to donate, hopefully?
Yep, so we have a Just Giving page, which I posted on LinkedIn. Did a post yesterday that has the link on there. So yeah, please do head over to there. You can find out more information about the charity and the event if you do want to get involved with your own company, and also donate as well. So yeah, there's lots more information on there.
Great stuff. And you've given up your bed, I believe. You won't be sleeping in your bed, will you?
I won't. No.
I might edit that out, but I might not. Where will you be, Kate, when everyone's doing this?
Unfortunately, I am not able to take part in this event.
Why? What else are you doing?
Unfortunately, I will have to do my my boycotting my bed at a different date due to my annual leave. However,
it won't go unnoticed that we're no clear as to what you're doing instead and where. Where would you rather be?
I might be in France on that date.
South of France, maybe?
South of France at my friend's wedding.
Oh.
So yeah, I'm not sure whether she'll accept me sleeping in a tent on her wedding night, but
Oh, is it that actual night?
it's the night before.
Oh, right, okay. There's no excuse.
So I'm not sure a bad night's sleep, because I'm actually a bridesmaid, so I need to be on form on the day.
Now it's getting murkier, and I feel slightly more guilty for bringing it up. I didn't realise you had an official role.
I've got official duties on the day. So
okay, no drama. Listen, Kate, thank you so much for coming on. Finally, and thank you so much, and we'll look forward to seeing what you guys and the charity work and everything that goes on at Redcentric, and we'll look forward to seeing it all move forward in the coming months.
Yeah, great stuff. Great to speak to you.
You too. Take care.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.